Hi everybody, this is Jacob with Mortgage Coach Software Support. Wanted to give you a walkthrough on how to use your new Ratewatch desktop application, and just wanted to give you a little bit of detail on what each of the fields is and how to set up your settings and so forth. So once you've got your Ratewatch client installed here, it'll actually pop up your candlestick charts like you're used to seeing and like you've probably seen on the webinars. But the other part to remember is that if you hit the minus sign up here, this will actually minimize the application and it'll run down in your taskbar down here at the bottom of your screen. You can see we've got some little red binoculars there, and when you hover your mouse over it, it'll actually tell you what the current bond trading values are. Now this is also where your alerts will pop up. So when there's a new commentary posted, one will pop up right here for you. Or if there's a movement in the bond pricing, you'll see an alert either way. But beyond that, let's open up the app again. Zoom right back out. So the basics of this is you have the main page here, which has your candlestick charts, and you can see that it's got the current movement on the market. Of course, the market's closed today because it's Columbus Day for us, but it also shows you the float and lock meter, depending on what other members in your community have been telling their clients. But if you wanted to add your own commentary, you can see that there's some scrolling commentary going down the middle here. If you wanted to add your own commentary about what you're telling your clients to do in terms of locking and floating, you can actually just type into the box right here, and then make sure and tag a vote here, so it's either lock or float, and then hit the submit button, and it'll actually submit your commentary, and you'll see it up here in the running commentary going by. Now that being said, if you want to get rid of this commentary box, you can actually hit the little arrow right here and it'll hide the comment panel. So I'll do that right now. Now getting back to our charts. Now by default, it'll choose the Fannie Mae 30-year bond, but you can actually change this to look at the Ginnie Mae if you'd like, and it'll update your charts here. You also have the option of choosing different coupons. So let's go back to the Fannie Mae real quick. And right now it's looking at the 4.5 coupon because that happens to be the most volatile coupon, and usually what we'll do is we'll put up the coupon that has the most movement right now. But feel free to change this. You can actually hit the drop down arrow here if you wanted to look at the 5% coupon, for instance. You could hit 5 and it'll reprocess the data and show you a new candlestick chart based on what's happening to the 5% coupon. Now you can also tag this with moving averages. You can do that by hitting the little drop down arrow here. So for instance, if I want the 10-day, zoom in here for you, I hit the drop down here. If I want the 10-day, I can click on 10-day, and you can see that it's actually updated our charts to now show a 10-day moving average. And if I want to show the 30-day, I can do that as well, the 100 and the 200. So you have options on which lines you want to show here. If you want to deselect them to basically pull them off, you would need to hit the drop down again and hit the little checkbox next to it, and it'll pull that particular line off for you. Now the other thing you can do, let me zoom out. The other thing you can do is you can actually change how long you're looking at. So for instance, if I wanted to look at just a 10-day period of time, I could click on the 10D here, and it'll show me just a candlestick chart of what's happened in the last 10 days. And again, I can choose a month or a 3-month period of time, or if I wanted to go all the way out to the max, this will show me all the way back to March 3rd. So you can change between those values. Now the next step here is to go to the day watch area. Now the day watch, what this gives you is it gives you exactly what it sounds like. It tells you what the coupon or what the bond has been doing during the day. So you can see at different increments during the day what the price is. You can see when it drops and you can see when it rises. So you can make a good determination on when pricing is going to be changing. Now the other thing you can do is if there was an alert listed here, you would actually see this little yellow diamond listed if there was an alert, and an alert happens if it's 12.5 basis points either up or down from the start. And in this case, we didn't have a whole lot of movement today because the market was mainly closed here, but had we seen a lot of movement, we would actually see alert notifications here. Now to check alerts, you can actually hit the alerts button here. This will show you any alerts that have actually come through today. So since we didn't get any alerts today, there's nothing listed in the list. However, had there been an alert here, it would give you the time the alert happened, the bond that it was associated with, the basis point change, the day change, and the change since prior close, and then of course the price. Now, going back to our chart here, the next step would be to check out the commentary module. Now in the commentary side, you've got a couple of things here. You've got an experts say category, and you've got a members say category. Now the experts say are going to be things like the talking points from Bill Fisher or Dan Rawich's daily update that he puts out, and these are actually really good, so I would highly advise watching them. If you do want to watch them and you haven't, for instance, you didn't get to check your email and you wanted to watch it from here, you can actually double click on this. It'll open up a new window for you, and it'll actually open up the video window. Now you're going to notice that part of the video might be obscured. Now, of course, we had a closed market today, so there's no video here for Dan's update. However, had there been a video, it would show up in the box here, and you can actually maximize this screen so that you can see the entire video. So let me pull that back. Now the other part of the commentary is the members say category. So for instance, what we did earlier, where I set up, I'm telling my customers to lock, this is exactly what you're seeing here. This is what other members in the community are telling their clients. So this will give you a rundown of what everybody's been saying during the day. It'll tell you what their vote was, whether to lock or float. And you can, of course, base your opinion on the expert commentary and what your peers are doing. Now, the other part of this would be the Lenders tab. Now, I'll show you how to set up your lenders in just a second, but let me show you how to navigate this screen. What this screen tells you is the total yield spread premium increase for each of the lenders that you've selected. Now, of course, the yield spread premium, if that goes up, that means you're making a little bit more money back on it, so that's why it's green here. If the yield spread decreases, you're making less money on each loan, so that's why it would be in red here. Now what this does is it actually lists which lenders repriced either for the better or worse for today's market. So if we wanted to look at all lenders, we could see the total yield spread premium increases, and it's actually gone mostly positive. So this is actually a pretty good indicator on what your particular lender would be doing. But I'll show you how to select your individual lenders in just a minute here. But you can change between the FHA, or you can look at conforming. You could look at jumbo pricing, and you can actually switch between fixed and adjustable if you'd like as well. Now I've chosen to look at all lenders, but if I wanted to look at just my lenders, I would need to select some lenders to follow. Now the way to do that is to go up to the very top of the widget here and click on the little cogs, and this will give you a settings window that opens up. And let me lock this in place. Okay, so the settings window here is where you can actually set your options for email notifications, or whether you want to receive commentary emails. If you want repricing alerts, you can check here as well. If you want to receive SMS text messages, you can check this box, and then you'll be prompted to enter your cell phone number here. I'm going to uncheck it for now. But the next part of this settings window is the update schedule. You can choose when you want to get updates on the market. So for instance, if I wanted to get a couple of updates during the day, maybe I want the opening update, and maybe I want one right around 11, which is where most lenders tend to reprice, and then maybe I want the closing as well. Now I go ahead and select those, and they're set in there now, so I will get updates at 6 a.m., 11 a.m., and 2 p.m. Now the next section is the lenders section. This is what we were talking about earlier. Now in order to select your lenders, you're going to see that this list is actually blank on your screen right now, so you'll want to hit OK, and I've hit select lenders, and you can see that it's now populated a new window here that allows me to choose which particular lenders I want to monitor. So for instance, if I want American Financial, I can left click on that, hit add lender, and it'll add it to the list here. If I wanted to add more, you can actually scroll down the list here and find your particular lender that you want to follow. When you're done adding your lenders, you can hit OK, and your lenders will actually appear in the list here if there's been any movement. Now the next section here is the application settings. And the application settings, this is very similar to what you saw when you're first installing the app, where you can either choose to launch the app on startup, you can choose to minimize the application when you close it, meaning when you hit this X button it'll just minimize. You can choose to play sounds on alerts, so when you get an alert notification it'll actually pop up a little sound along with the commentary. And then you can play a sound on opening and closing the software as well. There's also a help section here which just basically prompts you to email us over here at support@mortgagecoach.com. But for instance, you can see that I've selected my lenders here, but they're not showing on the left side yet. And the reason is I need to hit the submit button. So if I go down here to the right and hit submit, now my lenders have showed up on the side here. So I can see that 2 of my lenders actually had a positive reprice today. So if I wanted to, I could look at all lenders to find out what everybody's doing, or I could look at just my lenders. Now the other thing about this screen is you actually have the option of seeing when your lenders have repriced in relation to what the market is doing. So what you want to do here is, I'm looking at it since 6 a.m. I see that now 2 of my lenders have repriced. If I wanted to look at what has happened since, say, 10 a.m., I can move the toggle buttons. Actually, I can move these sliders over. You can actually move the open and close here. So I'm going to look at everything after 10, and you can see that my list of lenders has now reduced. There's only been 1 increase since 10 a.m. So you can really isolate when these lenders reprice and try and make predictions on what's going to be happening in the future. But that's the skinny on how to operate the Ratewatch module. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to email us over here at support@mortgagecoach.com, and we'd be happy to give you further information. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.